Thank you. Now we go to Bethnal Green, Rushanara Ali.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I want to start off by congratulating the Honourable Member for Harlow for securing this very important debate. And also I want to pay tribute to all those teachers who've gone beyond the call of duty in our constituencies to support our children and young people. And my thoughts are with those family members who've lost teachers in their families. In Tower Hamlets, sadly, we have lost 2 of our fantastic teachers to COVID. Our schools have maintained the utmost professionalism, despite too often, frankly, being let down by this government during this pandemic. And this is in the context of schools facing, our schools in our country over the last decade facing hundreds of millions of pounds of cuts. We had the exams fiasco last summer, the failure of test and trace, which meant that when schools did return, many teachers had to be on leave to self-isolate. Children in whole classrooms had to be sent home on multiple occasions. And that meant that they were not able to attend schools, whereas if test and trace was effective enough, they could have been. We also saw schools, including in my constituency, having to make school buildings COVID secure, but not getting adequate funding to do so. Some are short of some £50,000 to £100,000 each because of that, and the government is not stepping in to provide them the funding that they need to do that. I hope the ministers will look at this carefully as schools reopen once again. We saw a rising increase in food poverty and the fiasco of the free school meals and the appalling way in which our children were treated during lockdown. We also saw the discrepancies between schools in disadvantaged areas, poorer children facing bigger challenges, and those from minority communities facing even greater challenges. And the evidence provided, recent evidence provided, shows that there will be a 22% gap between those from disadvantaged backgrounds compared to advantaged backgrounds in different schools if we don't do more to support schools from disadvantaged communities. So I call on our ministers to look at a phased return so that it can be done safely, to provide more support for children with disabilities, especially in special needs schools, and also in early years education, to provide the 10,000 laptops that my borough is still lacking, and the digital divide that is affecting young people in my constituency, in order to genuinely be able to catch up when they return to school. And I hope ministers will take seriously our concerns about teachers not being vaccinated. It's vital that they are. And finally, I would be grateful if ministers could address the question of those who have underlying conditions in families who have yet to be vaccinated. If they are not by the 8th, that's going to be putting a lot of families in anxiety.